Leigh here and welcome back to Nothing to Wear. Now, joining me today is Tamara Holland, our wonderful fashion friend, to unpack Fashion Month, the 4 weeks that have just gone that set the scene for what we're going to be wearing in the next year. So let's jump into it.
You have to do it. You live for fashion.
Tamara Holland, that was a very official. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How
Thanks for
are
having
you?
Me. I'm well. I'm like high off Fashion Month.
I bet you are. It's where you shine. So lucky, that's what we're talking about. Fashion
Yes,
Month
indeed.
has just wrapped. That's all the big 4 fashion weeks around the world.
Correct. New York, London, Milan and Paris.
Yes. And I wonder if they'll ever add Copenhagen into that official
The calendar, wouldn't that be? But I kind of like that it's its own separate
Me
entity.
too. And Australia,
so cool.
which is in May.
Yes. Well, I mean, we're not quite.
We're
not quite there yet, but we're getting there.
But let's unpack the 4 big guys. So you are a pro at all of this, and I'm going to try and pitch in with some info where I can. Can we start with street style? So what did you notice from looking at the imagery? What's trending? What did you just think was cool?
There's one key overarching trend, which is about embracing maximalism after seasons of this kind of cookie cutter minimalism. It's been like the rowification of fashion, if you know what I mean. Brands are wanting to echo what the Olsen twins or the Olsen sisters have done with their label, The Row. So it's been these neutral layers, this kind of nondescript branding, this if you know sort of level of luxury. But now we're going to see the opposite come through. So the headline I'm seeing from the street style is quiet luxury is over. Quiet luxury is dead. There's this air of eccentricity coming through. And I guess like dressing for your own gaze. So I saw an Instagram reel the other day that said cool girls, I'm going to paraphrase, cool girls are wearing outfits that only make sense to them. I love that sentiment because it's about following your own lead, and perhaps it's about tapping into like a pastiche of different fashion forward styles, but sort of remixing them in a way that feels comfortable and cool for you, your lifestyle and your aesthetic, rather than what a TikTok or a magazine is stating is the
or what your Pinterest search kind of spat out. It's the stuff you can't really search, isn't it?
Correct. It feels like it's innate to these women and men in the way that they're dressing, but I'm sure that it's more laboured than that.
Yeah. Well, I was in Paris a few weeks ago during Fashion Week, and I could not agree more. The traffic in Paris is always horrific, but Fashion Week is even worse. So you're crawling in an Uber, and the only reason I like it is because of the people watching. And
you got to see it in real life.
I got to see it in real life.
Tell me all about it.
Well, I mean, I'm not a really big celebrity person. I don't really care for celebrities, but I just love watching real women. And they were, you know, just exactly what you said. It's like an outfit I never would have thought of, and it looks like they didn't even think it through. I'm assuming they did, but there was no sort of fashion statements in that they were all, you know, wearing statement-y red or this or that. They just kind of put their cool outfits together. They look effortless. They look like they hadn't laboured over them. I'm assuming they did.
Do you think that is the Copenhagen effect? Because I feel like the way the Scandinavians are dressing.
Yes, but it wasn't as quirky as that. It was still quite, you know, there was some tailoring, some neutrals. I mean, it was
Paris. You got to bring your A game.
Freezing.
Okay.
So, you know, they're still wearing winter, but it was sort of boots with socks and heels with stockings and like that kind of cool stuff, but it wasn't wacky colours and really mismatched. It was just kind of, like I was like, I've never thought of that. Wait. And I had to really sort of dissect it to go, oh yeah, I've got similar things in my wardrobe, but I'd never put them together.
Yeah.
I just loved it. And I just think that, you know, I was only on the ground in Paris Fashion Week timing. I wasn't all over the world, unfortunately. Maybe next year we'll go together. But I just thought these women in particular just looked great and very much like themselves. Like no one looked the same. No one was really it wasn't like everyone was wearing the same thing.
What's the lesson there for our wardrobes, do you think, going into winter now?
I reckon it is. I mean, I was going to say search Pinterest, but don't, because you don't know what you're searching. I think it's just go into your wardrobe, pull out all the pieces that bring you joy, and then try them on together in different kind of combinations.
I've been doing this. I've been having a lot of fun with this. Like I'll put a blazer with a wrap skirt, like a striped wrap skirt that feels like a summer piece, but then the blazer's a winter layer, and then I've got like a vintage graphic tee underneath.
Love it.
And then like, you know, I'm like a white heel or something or a loafer, and just it feels like it shouldn't work.
Yeah, it's kind of like the wrong shoe theory, but with your outfit. And you don't want to make it so wacky and too obviously like you don't feel comfortable because it doesn't work, but just like, I probably wouldn't wear that with that, but should I try it on? Take a photo. or, take a look in the mirror and then go, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of unexpected.
Effortless but effortful.
Yes, effortless but not too quirky. What else did you spot?
I want to talk about power suiting because this is another trend that we saw across the board. It's this masculine tailoring across like matching oversized suit jackets and trousers, and then also things like pinstripe or charcoal skirt suits.
This
We're
was a
seeing
lot on the
of those.
runways.
Yes, it was, and it was reflected in the street style quite literally. Some attendees were embracing the necktie trend.
Yes, love
That
it.
gives this real kind of 80s Wall Street financy vibe. That's thanks to the influence of Saint Laurent, which, has been showing ties in its collection for a few seasons now, and it's really started to infiltrate street style. I had a friend who's a keynote speaker, and she messaged me just to consult on, sometimes she consults me on fashion matters, and she says, can I do a suit with a tie on stage?
Yes.
And I think that speaks to how this trend is like it's everywhere and it looks really cool, but it still feels fresh and maybe a little bit scary. So I'm keen to know, what are your thoughts? Are you going to go there?
I love it because I think it is I think it's much easier. For me, like a season or two ago, it was the red stockings that everyone was doing. And they're like, I want to do that, but I can't. But that was really hard. A tie is so easy. I've got a lot of thin ties while thrifting. You can get them really cheaply.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, or printed ones.
Yeah, I just don't think you want that traditional sort of fat triangle one. You want it to be a little bit...
Not Trumpy.
No, and not a Trump tie. You want a thin tie. My husband's got plenty of them, which is great. When I was in Paris, I was with an Australian makeup artist, and she did the shirt and the suit and the tie.
Cool.
I probably will do it. I find it harder with me with a larger bust because I feel like you need to have some sort of buttoned up here.
Oh, because it sort of sits over.
Yeah,
in liquid.
and I
Okay.
normally have things sort of undone.
Yeah.
But give me a minute.
True.
I will work it out because I think it looks so good. And it can look kind of loose and a bit ruffled. And
Yeah, I like
It's very
that more
cool.
than the really buttoned up vibe, to your point. Because for me, I'm the same. I like to have sort of an open neckline usually.
Yeah.
Like now I'm wearing a high neck tee, but usually
But a crew
I have
neck
a low.
tee is different to
Yeah.
lots of layers.
It's a lot going on up here, like in your top sort of half of your body. So it makes me wonder, do you have to commit to the full suit and tie, or is there a way to kind of do a tie in a more accessible way? And I would probably say no. I think you have to
You
commit.
could do with a blazer, but like a wide leg jean.
Oh, interesting.
bottoms could
it's
be-
giving Avril Lavigne. Like I didn't want to say it, but I
No,
have to.
not like that. Like a beige blazer, tucked in shirt, like a really oversized Camilla and Mark blazer, and a really cool wide leg pant.
Oh, that sounds so
That was
chic.
everywhere.
Now you've put it in my... Yeah, well, you saw it.
You
so,
could
yeah.
do that.
What about you? What else did you see?
So lots of sort of things that I guess if I didn't see them on such stylish women, I would think maybe quite mob wife. So lots of fake fur, long fake fur, cropped fake fur. I mean, maybe there was real fur. I didn't ask them. Let's just only endorse fake, obviously, for obvious reasons. And leopard print is still here. So lots of leopard print shoes in sneakers, but mostly in sort of kitten heel pumps.
Cute.
Yeah. So a fur and a leopard could be a bit mob wife, but it's not. It's kind of really pared back and paired with unusual things that makes it less sort of themey
Yeah.
and
I
more
know
of
what
a
you mean.
staple, if that makes sense.
Well, they say leopard is a neutral, right?
Leopard, and it was in the stores still everywhere.
Yeah.
And that, that was all their spring summer drops. So
I'm seeing snakeskin as well.
yeah, there's
as another
lots
texture.
of any sort of animal print is apparently a new neutral. I'll see how I go with that. And long skirts, which I'm so happy about because I love a long skirt.
You do love a midi, don't
I love
you?
a long skirt.
Yeah.
Well,
and how are they wearing
they're
them?
maxis on me because I buy a midi, but I'm short.
True.
Lots of long pleated skirts. For the people I saw in Paris, it was kind of a boot or a loafer. Definitely more A-line, more actually a circle skirt. So there's a lot of volume. It's not a pencil skirt or even sort of a mermaid cut. And then on top, a trench that hits the same length as the skirt. So really long trenches and a lot of leather or fake leather trenches.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I like that, the interplay between the trench and the skirt.
Me too.
This is a kick on from that Bottega Veneta leather circle skirt from
Yeah.
a few seasons ago.
Oh,
that
they
was
were
like the
everywhere in
highlight piece.
Your
and then, like,
Zaras, your Mangoes, they're in every single store in either real leather or fake leather, depending on, I guess, your ethics and your budget, which is good. Anything else?
I mean, I'm always just on the lookout for what Christine Centenera, the editor of Australian Vogue, is wearing. She's like my personal style icon. Any sighting of her, I mean, I didn't physically see her in person, but I love seeing her Australian take on high fashion, and her styling to me feels more wearable and approachable, although it's still she's still wearing a Leigh and Balenciaga, but in a way that's
Yeah.
very her and
Or
very,
her own brand.
or her own brand, Wardrobe NYC, correct. But in a sea of these kind of extravagant and more laboured looks, I feel like the ease of her styling is so refreshing. So she had a grey power suit look. She had this giant cream faux fur coat, but she wore it with blue baggy jeans.
Love.
She tends to have like one fitted element in her outfits and then one more oversized or voluminous or dramatic shape, and that's like the tension in her outfits.
Yeah.
So there's a lot we can
Bit of
glean
balance.
from that. Exactly. So in one look, she had this tight long sleeve top with this voluminous leather pencil skirt. There you go. And then in another, she had like an oversized denim shacket, which feels so wearable, so
Yeah.
cool. I'm sure
We've all got
it was
one of
probably her
those.
brand.
Yeah.
But then bare legs and then these chunky Chloe clogs. So it was bringing the volume on the bottom, and it was just, her looks are so inspiring to me. So that's what I'm always looking out for.
And I think that, dissecting what you've just said there, we've all kind of got those pieces. Like I've got a lot of oversized jackets and people have said to me, where did you get them? And I'm like, it's just a denim shirt or jacket and I just size up a few sizes.
Correct.
Big W's got great ones, Kmart, Target.
yeah.
Like you don't have to get a designer one. Just size up, and it's kind of cool if it then has a drop shoulder and you can roll the sleeves. So it's not about, buying an expensive oversized piece. You can just
agree.
try a regular one and size up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had something confirmed while I was there on the streets is that the East-West bag is here and it's not going anywhere else. So before I went away, I interviewed Eva Galambos from Parlorex, and her spendy, of course, was an Alias white East-West bag. And it was absolutely beautiful. And so it was kind of on my radar. And then I was like, they're everywhere. And if you don't know what they are, and look, you don't have to spend Alias costs. But it's kind of like a baguette bag. It's long and skinny, leather, and then the handle's really long. So it's designed for European winters because all your layers and it fits under your arm and it doesn't slip off or it doesn't feel too short.
Is that why it's designed that way? That
Yes.
is genius.
The
I thought it was
East-West
just
bag.
like a design element.
No, it's so that your big jumper and your big coat, and then it still sits under your arm. So it's classified as a shoulder bag. So it feels kind of disproportionate when you look at it, but in a cool way. But it's a practical design.
It does look really directional, but still like something that you could invest in and use for a long time.
Totally. And we're already seeing lots of sort of global high street brands do them. So you don't have to buy a designer one. Should we move on to runway?
Let's do it. We've got so much to go through.
You're so good at this. So what did you see? What do you think we will adopt? And how are we going to wear it?
Important question, because as we know, runway trends, it's not necessarily about incorporating that into your daily style.
A lot of it's just art to be observed and admired.
It's conceptual, and then it trickles down to something more approachable.
Yes.
Absolutely. But it starts with the high concept stuff. And I'm not going to go there necessarily. I've definitely looked at this through the lens of, would we wear it? Can we wear it here? How would we wear it?
Will a style of it come to the stores, at
Exactly.
affordable price that's inspired by?
Yeah, that's right. So the first trend, Who What Wear called this trend cool girl romance. So it's, if you think about the Chloe effect, the fact that the French house is everywhere again, it's had this rejuvenation under a new creative director, and now everyone wants to be boho again. But this is like the move on from that more, I'm going to call it almost like a costumey boho vibe. If you're a millennial from a specific point in time, you remember boho the first time.
Yeah,
around. I'm not saying like 70s boho the first time. I mean the first time we referenced it.
Agreed. And that's what I think of, and then don't really want to go there again.
No,
Not
we
that
don't
I
wanna go
didn't
there.
love it, but I've just done it.
You don't need like a faux fur vest and like,
No,
an
lots
owl
of
necklace.
fringing, yes. And
Right.
owl necklace.
So this is the cool girl move on. So it's feminine, ditzy florals. It's these chic pastels. So not necessarily like the immediate pastels that come to mind, like baby blue, baby pink, like they're there, but it's more like a muted version
like
of those
sage
pastels.
and they're kind of a dirty pastel.
Dirty pastel. I like that. Dirty pastels. Lace and silk elements, but worn in this contemporary way that feels really effortless. And a key piece that came out for me time and time again was the soft maxi dress. So this is something that we saw at, Zimmerman and Chloe, of course, are going to come up with these styles of dresses. But more surprisingly, at brands like Valentino and Louis Vuitton even, it was these long slip dresses, almost like negligee styles, but as evening wear. And I can really see us wearing those for our climate, but layered over with like a cardigan or a slouchy knit on top and a flat shoe or a sneaker.
Yeah, and even in the warmer months, just with a slide for a holiday, like our climate is so made out for that. But with the cardigan.
Yeah, so that was inspiring.
I do a lot of maxi dresses with a knit in winter because I just love the skirt. And I'm like, well, you can just be a skirt part.
That's a very
Hide
you
the
look.
top.
I feel like actually have seen this in your content,
I
like in your
love
styling
it.
content. You always do the knit over and you make it into a skirt when it was a dress, which is
I
clever.
do that. I
Yeah.
think because I'm endo and I just like flowiness. So
Yeah,
it's just
comfort.
like, I just want to feel like I'm wearing a nightie.
100%.
But not
I'm
gold
so
on top.
here for it. What about you? Any trends?
Yeah, so definitely the corporate look. I mean, they're calling it corporate, but it's anything but. It's not your kind of Q from 1998 that you wore to the office. It's definitely very oversized, some really sort of beautiful structured tailoring. So if you've still got your oversized blazers for the last few seasons and wide leg pants, keep them out.
Great,
They're
I'm
great.
right on the money. I'm still wearing mine. I'm like, I'm not ready for shrunken yet.
No.
I want to keep it big.
I'm not doing that. I just feel better when things are a bit oversized. Belts are everywhere. So again, that's kind of borrowing from corporate originally, but skinny and thin, mostly cinched at the waist. But then still, you could wear something down on your hips if you liked. But never cull your belts. They don't take up a lot of room. And they will always come back. It's
That's so
basically just,
true.
are they thick? Are they thin? Do they sit at the waist? Do they sit at the hip? Keep them all.
Oh, so true. That's like that should be like the official guide to belts, because you're so right. It's like it's out 1 year and then 2 years later it's
Correct,
back. Yeah.
exactly. And again, tying into sort of that corporate tailoring vibe is the power shoulder. So there was a lot of, but not too 80s. Like it was,
I don't know. I think it was very 80s.
do you think? But I guess what
Yes.
is the rest of it was paired with. I think
Yeah.
there's a nod to 80s and obviously corporate, but then it's kind of masculine mixed with feminine. And I think as long as you've got, you don't have crazy big clumpy shoes on and you look like you're wearing your dad's suit, if you're kind of doing that with that skirt and then a beautiful kitten heel, love.
I saw so much of that big shoulder, and I feel like it was throwing significantly 80s vibes, but it looked new again somehow.
It's very cool.
That leads me actually to my next trend that came through really strongly in outerwear, and it was with these strong shoulders. The silhouette, it was these big shouldered coats with drop waist. So to your point, it was a lower waist in a lot of these coats and jackets, and a real statement coat is the vibe that I'm seeing. But it was in bright apple red. So it's a colour that isn't necessarily new. Like that's been trending. I think I wrote a piece for Mamma Mia about that colour like 6 months ago. But it's coming through in outerwear. We've had this colour more trending in like sportswear silhouettes and then Adidas Sambas and, little red caps. But this is more like buying a statement outerwear piece, which I thought was really cool. So we saw that at Balenciaga, Isabel Marant, Balmain, all the big heavy hitters doing these big red jackets.
Wow, that's a statement. I
fun.
prefer a bit of a burgundy pop and an accessory.
Yeah.
One more before we move on quickly is lace was everywhere in these weeks, and thank God, because it's still everywhere here and it's all through my wardrobe and I love it.
Yeah.
And I think going into autumn, winter, you and I have both really got a lot of great lace pieces, and I think with a knit, with a cardigan, with a blazer, with a trench, pants, skirts, tops with jeans, laces here, just, layer whatever you want underneath it so you're not totally nude. To the level that you're comfortable with, whether it's a bra or a tank or little shorties or whatever, and some corsetry as well.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I saw some corsetry as well. So again, that's kind of mixing. I guess if you did some corsetry at top, you'd do masculine at the bottom, like a wide leg jean or
cute.
a pant.
I'm picking out what you're putting down.
But I'm not going to bring lace to Boujie and budget.
Okay.
Are you ready to do it?
Yeah, I'm ready to do it.
Okay. My Boujie is from a brand called Hael and Jack's. It's called the Lindsay, and it is $249. It comes in a bone, which I absolutely love because I only do light coloured shoes in winter. And
is that a thing that you do?
yeah,
What's
I'm
why?
Merlot. I just black makes me depressed in winter. I mean, I've got a few pairs of black loafers, but I mostly wear whites and creams in my clothes and my shoes.
I guess, and with denim and everything, you might browns. It makes a lot of sense.
I can't, black I think because I've got black hair as well, I just look like I'm in the Matrix or something. They come in a beautiful like deep red Merlot and a black, and they're kind of like a high shine. They've got that very cool sort of angular heel that all these shoes have, and a higher toe cleavage.
These are beautiful.
49. Well, sorry, I made a liar. That would be nice. $249.95. But I have cheaper options for you if you'd like.
Please.
The ones I'm wearing today, I bought from Tony Bianco recently. They are the Dries Bordeaux Napa.
Oh, I'm just looking at
Look at
Leigh's
all my
shoes.
scars.
Oh, they're so
Do you
beautiful.
love my video? So they were originally $220 down to $100 with an extra 20% off. So I got them for $80.
I saw you lurking the Tony Bianco sale, and I was straight in there.
I got
And I was like,
so many.
stop me. Oh, my God.
But there's not many sizes left. So let me tell you another one that's very similar of theirs, but it's a new style. It is the Cherry Berry Crinkle, and it's the exact same cut. It's just a crinkle. And that's $200. 'cause
Cherry
it's new.
berry crinkle sounds delicious.
Cherry berry crinkle, and it also comes in black crinkle, chocolate crinkle,
Yummy.
liqueur crinkle, and I'm guessing it would be called
It's
cream.
that crinkly leather. Yeah, love
Yeah,
that.
they're great.
These
So
are
they're
gorgeous.
$200. But yeah, you're going to see a lot of that style everywhere.
No, you said
and
it
they're
first.
so comfy.
Really? So you're wearing them now, and that's a
This is like
true-
the 4th time I've worn them, and I got them a week ago.
Okay, fab.
They're so comfy. Look, let me show them.
Oh, she's taking her
Because
shoe
the
off,
heel's
ladies
not
and gentlemen.
the heel's not high. And this is the toe cleavage area I'm talking about. And it's so you're not gripping to hold yourself in because it's not like it's too
I see what you mean.
It's like
'Cause
a
sometimes,
sneaker.
Yeah, because
Well-
I have an old pair of Pierre Hardy heels that I wore a lot in my like old mag days.
Yeah.
Black patent leather, and they have a low toe cleavage. And I do. You have to like
grip.
pigeon your
It's like wearing
toes.
thongs.
Yeah.
No, I could run in these.
Oh, great
Yeah.
to know.
All right,
Challenge
tell-
you on that later.
Tell me your Boujie and budget.
So Alias May, a
Mm.
shoe brand that many of us love already for their chunky sandals. Their autumn-winter range has lots of styles coming through in fluffy textures. I had a little look and I was like, oh, there's one, all different styles. So the Emmanuel is a pair that I love. It's this black leather loafer with gold hardware on top, but it's backless, like a mule. And at the back, it has this fluffy caramel shearling, just a little bit.
Ooh.
Sounds like there's a lot going on.
No, it sounds fun.
Yeah, it is kind of fun but chic at the same time. For me, Alias May's quality is great. I think they're
Amazing.
made to last. I've had some of their slides for years
I think
and
they're
years.
Australian too.
They are Australian, yeah. So these are at $229.95. This is for me about incorporating like a hint of fluff, but it's not the whole shoe. However, they also have entire shoes that are fluffy, but I'm just
Wow.
not quite ready for those yet.
It's such
like
an
we said.
interesting retail decision, isn't it? Because
It
it's like,
is.
how many people are going to buy those?
It's a
I love
flex.
to look at them, but as a brand, will they sell?
I think they will. I
Okay.
don't know. Watch this space.
Yeah, well, we'll look for our sizes
I'm
in a
gonna
few months and see
dissect
if they're
this for-
sold out.
Dissect this further on the Mamma Mia website
Please
and write it
do.
out. I think fluffy shoes are due their moment.
Mm.
Let's talk about budget. So I don't know if you've heard of a Swedish high street brand called, I think it's pronounced Naked, but it's NA-KD.
Yes, but I didn't ever know how to say it.
No,
I just
well.
was like, and I didn't know it was
I made-
Swedish. So there you go.
There you go. If you haven't heard of it, don't go there. Don't scroll. It's too good. But this brand is my new obsession. It's like Zara if everything was actually wearable. I was inspired to go on there and look for textured outerwear.
Do they ship to Australia?
They do, and it's free.
What?
I know.
I have to go right
I
now.
know,
I'm on
it's
I'm on the website.
ruining my life. If you search for shearling or faux fur, they have so many great options. I came across one option called the collar detail bonded jacket. It's a black faux leather cocoon jacket with a waist tie. So
Oh my
it's got that
gosh.
extra waist.
Look at that jacket.
Yeah, it's so nice. It has this worn kind of cream shearling on the inner layer, and then it's also on the collar and the sleeves. It looks expensive to me,
Yeah.
but it's $179.95.
They've got really good stuff.
Yeah, they really. This is why I'm warning you. And if I'm doing like the Chloe girl thing that we were talking about before, I'm like wearing that over a lacy slip dress.
Okay, I love
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
I really like that a lot.
Into it.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, I always
We'll
love
wrap
chatting
it up
to you.
there.
I feel like we should cut the podcast and just sit here and online shop.
Can we? I know. Well, this is the problem when I come in and do this with you. 'Cause I'm
I
like,
know.
oh God, my wallet.
This
We
is
always
my
say
problem all the
this.
time. Tam, thank you so much. You will be back before we know it, and we'll be chatting more fashion.
Indeed, I can't wait.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having me.